like we have undefeated heavyweight,
Mhm.
and that's rare. Since Tom Aspinall lost, unfortunately, his last match, like I think he's only like a top heavyweight that's undefeated,
Mhm.
especially like he's 16-0, he's on 5 fight win streak. I mean, he's on 16 fight win streak,
Yeah.
and he's really interesting guy. He's coming from a smaller country, Moldova. I was even thinking that he's Russian until I did a little bit more study on him, and I saw he's Moldovan. He was like a good wrestler. He won the bronze on the like how to say that's like university world
Mhm.
championship, like a college. That's under I think 21-year old athletes. So that's pretty good accomplishment.
You
And
know
what
what's crazy is like it sounds like he has the wrestling accolades, but he also has the submissions to go with it. Most of his wins are by submission, including his last fight against Sherman.
Yeah, he's just putting like I saw like some mistakes in his submission games on a couple fights that I was watching. Like it's
Hmm.
going on too much power, and it's not like even everything is not set up perfectly, not even close. But like he has that weight, he has that power, and he managed to pull it out.
Yeah.
So what I like really, it's like the pace that he's going. Like he's going really crazy pace for the heavyweight.
Hmm.
And he's wrestling like he's trying to do the suplex in the heavyweight. Like he's throwing guys through the air, where he can even preserve his energy and maybe go for something that's like he's gonna spend much less of his gas
Hmm.
tank. But like he's just like attractive. I think he's upcoming, and if he win this one, which is like I think his biggest test so
Yeah.
far, we can see him like attacking even top five, and I think he's gonna be really interesting mix for this heavyweight division. He
Hmm.
fresh blood, like that's what heavyweights need, I think, in this moment.
I would agree, and if he wins like impressively, I think that shoots him up to not a title fight just yet, but he's getting into the talks there, maybe a title eliminator. But like Marcin Tybura, I think if you look at his resume, he's fought a lot higher level competition, at least bigger names than Alexander Romanov has. So that's one big question that I have is like, how is Alexander Romanov going to stack up against Tybura when Tybura has so much more higher level experience? Granted, like Tybura, he hasn't necessarily won against all of them, but all of the guys he's faced, like Arlovsky, Struve, Verdum, and Verdum in particular, I think was like kind of like an interesting fight because he lost against Verdum, but in the grappling exchanges, he wasn't really dominated, right? He didn't get like, and against Verdum, who submits everybody, right? Like he was at least able to keep it neutral against Verdum, and I think against Alexander Romanov, it could be interesting because, I mean, if you can keep yourself from getting submitted by Verdum, I think that's a big statement. He submitted who like Fedor, Noguera, Cain Velasquez. Um, so if Romanov beats Tybura, which I do favor him to win, if I should clarify, if he submits Tybura, that's a huge statement. I don't know if he's going to submit him, but I do see him out grappling him, outworking him. Like you said, he has a crazy pace for heavyweight, and I think it's just going to be too much for Tybura. But I'm more so excited to see if he could pull off a submission because that would be crazy.
I think he can. Like what's the difference? Like the ground and pound and the ferocity that he has in his ground and pound. It's hard to survive. And
Mhm.
he like that's why like what I said. Where I think he technically makes mistake, but like he overwhelmed them. Like he have like even like his nickname is King Kong. He's basically like sitting in a mountain, hitting the guy with the
Yeah.
both hands, like and going like this, like from the that Donkey Kong video game from Nintendo era, like it's just like it's interesting. Like he's really bringing. So I can see that. Like basically,
Mhm.
Marcin also like to take his opponents down and to work like to smother them, ground and pound. But like he's much slower, I think, and the power is, I think, huge factor in this match, but like he has experience, he have solid boxing, solid stand up, like I can see him making a trouble. I just think like that he will get overwhelmed, like, but for me it's also weird that like also odd makers, how much it is, I think, plus 290 for Marcin. That's crazy,
Mm.
especially like if you go back and he had like before his loss then from Volkov, he had a five win streaks, so that's also saying something, like he was like on the roll again coming, and Volkov is like hard to deal with, especially like if you cannot take him down. And I think after his match that Volkov lost from, let me say, he was fighting now Aspinall again. I asked him
Yeah.
last week.
It's interesting to me when I see the betting odds for these when you have someone with like so much more higher level experience being the underdog against these guys. Like it just shows that like that record means a lot when it comes to the odds. Like he's undefeated, and I think people are looking at that.
Yeah, again, it's a question also like on the, I think, hype, because you have like some. I was looking at some small organization. Doesn't matter that much, if it's not, how to say, and he really like did with couple solid guys now in UFC. I think he would coming like to UFC with maybe one victory, it wouldn't be that difference,
Yeah,
because Tybura would have that, but they think like now he has like a UFC experience and I think five fights.
that's true. He's not new to the UFC, but he
No,
just hasn't fought the big names.
no, but he fought some solid guys. If you go, like mentioned previously, Vandera. He's big
Yeah,
heavyweight. He fought Juan Espino, who I don't know how he managed to get to the limit of the heavyweight. He's one of the biggest guy that I ever saw. Like when I was competing in under the wrestling federation, he was like in Spain team, and he was winning everything, like
mm,
absolute. I mean, his category, he didn't have a category, so I'm like really like he was doing, I think, going to him, I think, and he's 41 years old. Yeah, that's something.
mm.
I think he was fighting in the open weights. There was no no category for him. He was doing even some weird matches in Africa, like their MMA with the bare knuckle, something like that. Very interesting guy, So like
I
when
gotta
you
check that
put
out.
when you put like to the names that he beat solid guys and all like big heavyweights,
Yeah.
and that's why I think the odd makers giving him more chance than Marcin.
I mean, I am picking Romanov too. I think he doesn't have like he hasn't fought Volkov, right? He hasn't fought Overeem or Struve, but like I think the skills speak for himself, and that ground and pound might give Tybura trouble. I don't think he's gonna have too much trouble taking Tybura down. It's just what happens when it goes down. Is he gonna be able to do what he wants with him?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think we're gonna see, like, I think also like the whole experience that Tibura has. I think he never fought anyone like this that brings this tool set to
Hmm.
the table, and I think he will have a problems, for
Yeah.
sure. Like that speed, that pace, so I don't see, like, maybe if he catch him like it's a heavyweight again, puncher's chance. you know, there is his chance. But that's, I think, everything else. I would say it's on the Romanov side.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see like fight of the night or knockout of the night in this fight. I mean, there's a reason why they're the main event of the prelims. You know, usually they pick like the most exciting fight to kind of sell you on the pay per view, and I'm kind of expecting that out of these heavyweights. You know,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's why I'm like a little bit. But like you said, probably that's the reason why they're moved to the
yeah,
prelims. Like, but they for sure deserve, and we are treating them like they're on the main event. We
yeah,
didn't
right.
want to change. We said we're gonna break them, and I didn't. There was no reason to switch it.
Yeah, I don't think so.